Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it out. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it out.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm trying to pin a message as I'm saying hello to the chat. But welcome in, welcome in. Let me just pin this really quick and we'll be ready to go. But welcome into the channel. If you are new here, my name's Tanya. Nice to meet you. And if you're not new, welcome back for another round. Thank you for joining me. I forgot what was over here. It's just the PCA. So if we need that for anything, it'll be there. But welcome in. Let me get over to the chat so I can see who's all in here. But welcome in, everybody. It's good to see everyone. I'll put the comments up so you guys can read the comments on the screen if you would like to. If you guys don't mind, just take a second, hit the like button, say hello, to the people in the chat, and we'll get started with some stuff. So it's good to see everybody. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. I actually just got this sweater the other day. I got it yesterday, I think. You know me, if I like something, I'll buy it in every color. I got it in 3 colors now, so. But welcome in, welcome in. We're going to be reading over some of the documents again this evening. There's just so much information coming out of Idaho with the Idaho 4 case that it's kind of, it's craziness to me. It's craziness. But I think with us reading through the documents like this, like actually just like going through them chunk by chunk, is going to give us a little bit of a better understanding. And we're not going to get our mind colluded with a bunch of lies. Because I've heard some people, I don't normally listen to other creators because I don't know. For some reason, if I listen to like some creators, I feel like if someone says something in the chat, let's say it's not true, I'll still retain it in my head. And I don't ever want to bring that here for you guys. Do you know what I mean? And like regurgitate that and be like, oh, was that true? Because we don't want that. We don't want that here. We want facts, 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 facts. So there was some interviews that were done, and I know that I guess there's some more injuries to Kaylee than what was in the documents. Now, I don't know why they wouldn't be in the documents if there were these other injuries. So maybe we'll see another document on our, on our way through the documents. But as for right now, I've only seen what we've read, so I'm trying to stay with you guys in this. Well, thank you, Stormy. I appreciate that. And thank you, Ladybug. Thank you. Thanks, Mary Beth. Well, I'm going to start wearing this color more often. You know what? I'm surprised Vincent didn't say that I look like a flamingo today. I was wearing this color in a green skirt the other day, and he's like, you look like a flamingo. I'm like, I kind of do. Okay, let me pull these up. Which one is the first one? Maybe this one? It looks like it might be. Oh, actually, I was going to show you a picture of inside a court. It's of Brian's mom and his sister. So we got to see them coming out of court. She had on her big glasses, at that point, and Brian's sister was just kind of looking straight ahead. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's the look in their family, because she doesn't look very upset in this picture either. Or this is the sister that maybe knew Brian was guilty and was like, there's that. But you can see the people behind her. They're like all like staring at her, like giving her the look of death. She's the mother. She's not Brian, but that's Mary Ann, and that's his sister. So I'm surprised the other sister didn't come. Melissa, I think that's Amanda. Melissa didn't come, and the dad, Michael, didn't go. That was pretty surprising to me. I mean, his dad was there through everything, right? So I'm really surprised that he wasn't there for this one. So it's just very weird. Maybe he thought something would happen. I don't know. Who knows? But he wasn't there. So we are going to hear from. I made my thumbnail, and then I was like, wow, there's like a lot more stuff in the documents that we're going to go through tonight. We're going to hear from like the DoorDasher and a lot. There's like a lot of interviews in this batch. So we'll go ahead and we'll get started. I'll make these bigger so that you guys can see them as well. And I'm going to be like kind of maybe looking up, but I'll look at the camera, here and there. I'm going to move, I think, the camera in between my two screens. That way I'm looking like at you guys as I'm reading, but we'll get there when we get there. Okay. So this one is from Lawrence Mowry. And I started putting these in green and yellow. I was color coordinate them. So just if you see the other colors, that's why. But this one is just the Meta warrants, and it's for, it just is redacted. It says on December 1st, I requested amended order or warrant, for Meta. And it's the parent company for Facebook and Instagram. And then it says for the accounts associated with the following identifiers. I'm assuming it's the 5 people. Well, it'd be Bethany, Dylan, Ethan, Xana, Kaylee, and Maddie, I would assume. That would be there, but it's redacted, of course. Next one is, this is for a Reddit account. So this is from Lawrence Mowry as well. And it was dated 12/20/22. And the narrative is the warrant. It's a Reddit warrant service. So on December 1st, 2022, I applied and was granted a warrant for all the information in Reddit's possession consisting of information related to the crime of homicide on the Reddit account of Kaylee Gonzalez. And they did, in retrieving like the data, they found just one account registered November 18th, 2020. There was one message, and it sounds like it was like Kaylee writing in a subreddit, like asking for help, just like with the phone, like help with the following. So any idea what would cause this type of acne? Never struggled with acne before. I started developing these types of bumps on my jawline, chin, and down my neck. The rest of my face is clear. I am on a non-hormonal, can't even say that word, birth control. That's bad. Copper IUD. Tried everything to get rid of it, and nothing helps. So that was all that was really on there. And I highlighted it because I started highlighting it, and I thought it was going to be something of importance, but it's really not. It's just something from 2020 that she had wrote in a subreddit asking for advice. So then they have the Coronado property release. And this is on 12/20 as well. So they're releasing property. It says, I emailed this, I'm assuming Jeffrey Coronado, a property release form for Xana's personal property and her car. Coronado told me he was going to have, I'm assuming this is, I don't know, I'm assuming Jasmine, but I don't know, redacted, drive down from redacted and retrieve the items since he was in, I believe, Arizona on 12/17/2022. Coronado emailed the form back indicating he was giving permission for, that's not her, so redacted to take custody of the property and car. On the morning of 12/20, redacted called me and said he would be in Moscow later that morning to collect Xana's property and car, and they met at the Moscow City shop around 11:30 hours that day and released 9 boxes containing Xana's personal property from the house and the 2010 blue Honda Civic with the Arizona license plate, and it's redacted. They signed and they took custody of the items. So they fit everything that they could give back to Xana in 9 boxes. That doesn't seem like a lot to me. Does it seem like a lot to you? That doesn't seem like a lot to me. It just, I don't know. That doesn't seem like a lot. I'm assuming that everything, we do see it later on in the property. I think it's at the end, but at the end of the live, or like the end of these, but it does say her property, like the mattress and stuff that they took out. So it does mention that. So on December 21st, 2022, at approximately 11:30 hours, I met with redacted. And then it says, I think this is Dylan Mortensen, but at the City of Moscow shop and released the following items to her. Yeah, so Mortensen's passport, Ziploc bag of jewelry, small black purse, Nike Air Jordan shoes, North Face black puffy coat. Don't know why those items, that they needed to release those items. I mean, the passport, I can understand that. Like, I need my passport. Hey, my family's going somewhere. But don't really care for my Nike Air Jordans. I really wouldn't need those. Maybe my jacket, but it was, I don't know, January this time? No, December. So, I mean, I guess, yeah, maybe they would want that. But it says that Mortensen signed for the items. And I believe that's her mom, that her mom or her stepmom came to get them. She said that she would meet with Dylan and find out when she would be collecting the remainder of her items. The signed release is attached electronically to the case file. And then they ended up, you'll see here soon, they end up going and getting the stuff back from Dylan. Like, they were like, sorry about that. We didn't mean to give you some of your stuff. We need that back. Like, because it was supposed to be like, the prosecutor was like, that's evidence, guys. You're releasing things from the house. I mean, insanity. The way, I don't know. I hope that there's more to that. I mean, there's a lot more documents to go through, but to me, I don't know. It's just, this is insanity. On December 22nd, 2022, I was tasked with reinstalling the exterior camera known as the light bulb camera at 1112 King Road to capture some comparison video and audio. So they did their own little experiments, which they did theirs before me. But it says that upon arrival, I unplugged the power to the current router and removed the camera from the light socket on the exterior of the residence. I then powered on the router and I had secured from the residence earlier and installed the camera I secured as evidence earlier into the light socket. While installing the camera, I hear a crack and felt the light bulb base mount become loose. What'd you do? Screw it in too tight? It should be noted the approximate temperature outside while installing the camera was between 5 and 9 degrees. I previously had installed a new SD card into the camera and powered on the router and camera at the Moscow Police Department to ensure the camera was functional. I then was able to monitor the camera using the Home Eye Pro app on my phone. Corporal Brett Payne was able to drive a white colored vehicle into the view of the camera. So this was on 12/22, right? So they already know they're looking for a white car. They want to know, what does it look like on camera when it's driving by the house. Sergeant Dustin Blaker parked a vehicle near the residence and closed the doors and trunk of a vehicle for audio comparison. That's what I did. That's exactly what I did. That's so weird. That is weird. I guess, I mean, I don't know. That's because that's what I did for noise. Because I was like, I can't sit here and like scream in the parking lot, right? It was like, because there's like 2 tree lines and then there's a parking lot back there, and that's how far it was. Because I measured it on Google Maps, and like, so I think I slammed the trunk a couple times and I slammed the doors, and you could hear it. You could definitely hear it. Hey, Avery, I thought I saw you come in. Hey, Chris, I thought I saw some people coming in. Welcome in, everyone. Yeah, that's crazy. So then a canine unit from Lewis County Sheriff's Office was utilized to capture barking audio comparison from the residents. Like, they brought a dog in and was like, brought in the canine, bark, like. Upon completion of the data collection, I powered off the evidentiary router and removed the camera from the light socket. In doing so, the base detached from the camera and a wire became disconnected. I gathered the router and camera, placed them back into their evidentiary bags, and returned them to the secure computer forensic lab. So after you broke the camera, I guess you got it on the app. So good thing you have it on the app. You better pay for that app. I reinstalled the current camera and reconnected the power to a new router. I contacted Redacted to ensure she could access her camera, and she responded in the affirmative. So Corporal Payne and I then ensured the residence was locked and left the residence without further incident. Upon returning to the Moscow Police Department, I was able to download the videos collected and were saved to the server located in the secure computer forensic lab. Okay. So they did a little experiment. Yeah, that's what I said. Olga, his sister has the same stare. Could you imagine those eyes, though, looking at you? I don't know. So let's go to the next one. This one is going to be initial interview with, okay, so this is the first interview with Bethany. There's going to be 2 back-to-back interviews with Bethany. So now I will try to see, I don't know exactly whose names are whose, but like Bethany's, I'll know that one, and I'll know, like, should know Dylan's if it's in here. So yeah, we're going to go through it. Okay. Now, I was telling you guys yesterday, if we played the drinking game, drink every time I said redacted, but I think that you guys would be dead within like 2 minutes. So only play if you're drinking like water or tea or some dew or something. So initial interview with Bethany Funke, and this was on 12/28/2022. And it says, all video will be burned to one DVD and booked under this case number. Now, I am going to request those things. I don't know if we'll get them, but I am going to request them. So we might get the video, we might not. But they did put out a statement under their, like on their, the Moscow PD website. If you wanted like if there's redacted evidence, or not redacted, it didn't say, but if it was like video, I think, or something like that. Let me see. Other records may not be available on the website, may be available through submission of a public records request and payment of any applicable fees. So there might just, for like pictures, video, you might just have to pay the fee for it, and that's why they want you to do that. So I will do that. It'll get done this weekend. So this is going to be, like I said, the initial interview. So on November 13th, 2022, at around 13:47 hours, I interviewed Bethany Funke at the Moscow Police Department in regards to the death of 4 of her roommates. Bethany is a resident of 1122 King Road. Actually, I wanted to pull this up for you guys too, so you guys have like something to look at if you needed like a reference term. What? That's weird. The whole website's down now. That's so weird. Did they take it off of there? So the website we used to use for like inside the house is like not working anymore. I was going to see if I had it like saved. I know I saved it like my bookmarks. That's so weird. Yeah, I don't even see it in my bookmarks. It's like locked. I wonder if they're fixing the site. Maybe they are. Okay. So if you do need any, if you need any help, like you're like, I don't know where that is, let me know in the comments and I'll try to keep an eye as I'm reading so I can help you. So I was trying to look for the website with the house on it, and I don't know why they took it off of there, but they did. And I like exit out of the app earlier, so that wasn't smart. But it says that she was Funk was home sleeping in her room located on the basement floor of the residence. Bethany has an iPhone 11 Pro cell phone with passcode, and it's redacted. Bethany went to the redacted party at around 20-30 hours with Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle. They hung out in the apartment for a little while together, and then Bethany went up to the main part of the fraternity to hang out at the party. Maddie and Kaylee went to the corner club together, not sure when they left. Let me make this a little bit bigger. That's a little bit too big. Okay. Says not sure when they left. Bethany did not see Ethan and Xana at the party and left to go to Redacted's residence at Redacted Taylor Avenue. Bethany walked home at around 1-ish, and when she got back to 1122 King Road, Dylan and Redacted were at the residence, and they were all watched a movie together. Maddie and Kaylee got to the house at around 1:45 or 200 hours. Redacted left the house, and Dylan went to bed. Bethany hung out with Maddie and Kaylee for a little while in Kaylee's room. Bethany and Maddie took Murphy, Kaylee's dog, out to go to the bathroom between 2:30 and 3. So that's like the first time I've actually seen that on document that they did take the dog out that night. We had heard that they took the dog out, but we didn't know for sure. But I guess it was Bethany and Maddie that took the dog out. Bethany did not stay outside for very long as it was cold. Maddie then went to bed and watched a TV show to help her sleep. I guess the TV show was called Baby Daddy. At around 400 or 420 hours, Bethany heard what she thought was a firework and saw a spark on the ground from under her door. Now, I have no clue what that could be. Her bedroom, if you walk in their front door, there's stairs right there that go up to the second level. Or if you go around the stairs, right, and you go back, there's like a little hallway. There's a bathroom, like laundry or something, or like a closet. And then that's Bethany's room's like right there. Like maybe. Could this be the reasoning why that front door's open? Because that front door is open, they said, and the slider door's open. So she's on the first floor. So it couldn't have, I'm like thinking it had to be something like powerful enough to, like, if it was something like that hit, drop the flashlight, maybe. That's why I brought this to you guys. Because I was like, I have no clue, but I knew you guys would have some good questions or good, answers for this. Yeah, the firecracker and the sparks. It sounds almost like a flashbang. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he did that, but when they took Murphy out, no, Nope, not yet. He started circling, I think, around 3:29. But at around 400 to 420 hours, that's when, he was in the house. And it says Bethany heard what she thought was a firework and saw a spark on the ground from under her door. Like a flashbang too. Yeah. Or those firecrackers. I was thinking those firecrackers that make that little noise when you throw them and they pop, but they don't make they don't do anything. Okay, keep that in your guys' mind. It's there. It's very weird. And then it says Bethany then heard Murphy barking. I wonder if I don't know. I'm gonna think about that. Okay. Dylan called Bethany and stated she had seen someone in the house, and Bethany told her she could come down to her room and sleep with her. Dylan went to Bethany's room and went to bed. They woke up at around 1100 hours and talked to other friends who came over, and they checked on Zan and Ethan and found them deceased. Now, when she came down to her bedroom, why didn't Bethany say, hey, I think I just saw something weird happen out in front of my door? Did you see? Because Dylan's saying she saw a strange man in the house. Bethany's like, I thought I saw a firework and a little bang, like a little fire, here I am. They didn't discuss that. That's just weird. They woke up at around 1100 hours and they talked to other friends who came and checked on them. Xana and Ethan found them deceased. Bethany originally called 911 and stated her friend was passed out and would not wake up. Bethany talked about an incident with Kaylee, who stated about a month ago she saw an unknown male up above their house to the south who was staring at her when she took Murphy out to go potty. Bethany stated Kaylee broke up with her longtime boyfriend about 3 months ago because she was planning on moving to Texas. Bethany could not provide me with anything else at that time. Well, let's see what she offered the next one, because the next one she offers up is 6 pages, and this one's 2 pages. So apparently she had some more stuff to add. Let me make this bigger for you guys. Okay, so this is the second interview with Bethany Funke. On November 16th, 2022, at around 11:55 hours, I met with Bethany Funke at her, that's some redacted, I'm going to say lawyer's office, attorney's office at redacted. Present during the interview with me and redacted were her redacted. When the Nevada State Police Investigation Division. This was a follow-up interview with Bethany related to the homicide in Moscow, Idaho. I asked Bethany who had the front door code. Bethany told me the following people had the code. So Bethany, Dylan, Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, Ethan, maybe Jake. I don't know. I don't know the names, but probably Hunter, Emily. Those people, I would say. Bethany stated the above named people were the only ones she knew had the code. Bethany stated the code for the front door was the same code from the year before. I asked Bethany what the code was, and she stated it was redacted. Bethany stated Maddie was the only roommate who lived in the residence the year before. Bethany stated her, Dylan, and Kaylee moved in around August 3rd, 2022. So just before all this stuff happened, they literally they just moved in. Bethany stated Ethan had his own apartment, but she was not sure where it was located. Bethany stated Maddie kept her same room from the year before. Maddie's room was located on the 3rd floor on the east side of the residence next to the bathroom. That was probably pretty nice of her just to keep that bedroom. I asked Bethany about Murphy's routine. Murphy was Kaylee's dog she had purchased when she was still dating Jack Decor. Bethany stated Kaylee would primarily take Murphy out, but Maddie would also help. That's a really good friend. Bethany stated they never just left the door open because he would run away, so they would have to use a leash when they took him out. Bethany stated Murphy would not bark that often and was very friendly. Bethany stated Murphy would primarily sleep in Kaylee's room, and if Kaylee was not home, he would be left in the room. I asked Bethany about the Uber driver Maddie and Kaylee used on a regular basis. Bethany stated Kaylee knew him from other redacted who used him on a regular basis. Bethany stated they could either contact the Uber driver through the app or contact him directly. Bethany stated the Uber driver was very friendly and was always nice to everyone, and everybody trusted him. Bethany was able to tell me the Uber driver was married and his wife had just had a baby. Bethany told me he drove a small car, possibly gray or black, but she could not tell me more about the car. Not white. I asked Bethany who in the house had a boyfriend. Bethany told me Xana was dating Ethan. Dylan was dating a boy named Q who lived in Boise and went to BSU. Maddie was dating Jake who lived in Boise. Kaylee was dating Jack, but had recently broke up with him. Kaylee was possibly hanging out with Redacted, or Bethany stated Redacted was Xana's big in the Greek system. Bethany stated the relationship was new and that he had never stayed over at the house, but Kaylee had stayed with him possibly more than once. Bethany stated Kaylee was also talking to an Redacted who was also a Redacted. I'm assuming this is fraternity brother. Bethany stated she did not have a boyfriend, but did mention she was kind of hanging out with a Redacted who is a Redacted, but they were not serious. Okay. So Kaylee was dating as she should be, it looks like, and the rest of them were kind of in serious relationships. She just got out of a serious relationship and she was dating. And good for her, man, because, I didn't go on my first date till I was like 30. And then I met Vincent when I was 30. So I asked Redacted if she ever had heard of it's Redacted, CG, it looks like. Bethany stated she knew of a Redacted and he was also a Redacted. Bethany stated Redacted was a nice guy and knew Dylan. I asked Bethany if she knew a Redacted and she stated she did not. I asked Bethany if she knew the person behind Kaylee and Maddie on the grub truck video. Bethany stated she did not know who the person was. I asked Bethany if she knew a guy by the name of, I think it says Showalter. Bethany stated she did not know him, but stated she had heard from a friend of Maddie's, Showalter, that her boyfriend, maybe, I don't know. That might not be right, but I think it's a friend of Maddie's, that her boyfriend Redacted, also a Redacted, that he would never want to get in a fight with Redacted as he has anger issues. I asked Bethany about who paid for the Spectrum Wi-Fi account. Bethany told me it was Kaylee who paid for the account. Bethany told me the login for the password was Redacted and the Wi-Fi name was, and it's Redacted. Bethany stated she did not know what the actual user and login was for the account. Okay. I asked Bethany if she knew of anyone who had gotten asked to leave any of the parties thrown at the house. Bethany stated 2 guys from the Redacted house, Redacted and another guy, only she knew him as, their names are Redacted, got in a fight and were told to leave. Bethany stated this fight occurred about a month before the incident at the house. I asked Bethany about I think that's Ashlyn Couch. Yeah, okay, it is. So Ashlyn Couch. Bethany said Ashlyn used to live at the house but moved out. I asked Bethany who used the bedroom on the west end of the first floor. So if you're walking into the front door, that bedroom right there to the right, they're asking about that bedroom, the one that was unoccupied. And it says Bethany stated Kaylee and Maddie used the room as an office. Bethany stated Kaylee would use it for her work and had a computer in it. I asked Bethany if any of the girls who lived at the house had jobs. Bethany told me Maddie and Xana both worked at Mad Greek on Main Street. Bethany told me Kaylee worked for an online company and worked from home. Bethany did not know who the company was. Bethany told me Maddie also worked for an online company, but it was not the same company. Bethany said the company Maddie worked for was out of Boise, and during the summer, she worked for them in their office in Boise. I asked Bethany about the drug use in the house and who used. Bethany told me Ethan and Xana both took Adderall when they drank alcohol. We talked about that last night. Bethany told me she saw Ethan and Xana both use Adderall the night before the murders. Bethany told me she saw Ethan take a pill when she saw Xana crush up a pill and snort it by using a rolled up bill in her room. So that blue, what they thought was like, they said blue cocaine. I guess it wasn't. It was probably Adderall. Who said that there was blue Adderall? One of y'all did. One of y'all smarty pantses did. I think it was like a 10 or something, 10 milligrams. Yeah, I don't drink with my Adderall. Adderall is blue. Yeah, it can be blue. Yeah. Yeah, it was a rolled up $2 bill. Groovy Nikki. $2 bill, a $2 bill. We have been discussing a $2 bill in this case since the beginning of this case. That's just so crazy to me. I had no idea it would be in these papers. Okay, so then it says here, Bethany also said she thought Kaylee also used Adderall, but was not sure. So, okay. I asked Bethany if she has had any issue from any of the other people who live around them. Bethany stated besides the 3 to 4 noise complaints they had, there was no other issues. Bethany told me Kaylee would look up who the registered sex offenders who lived in the area. Bethany stated Kaylee had found a registered sex offender who lived close to them in the blue apartments on Queen. If you look them up, you'll find them. There's a lot of everywhere. It seems like. Kaylee stated he was older, in his 30s to 40s. I resent that. Bethany stated Kaylee was looking at the sex offender registry within the week or so before the murders. Bethany stated Kaylee was into crime shows. Bethany stated there was nothing that happened to prompt her to look up sex offender registry. I asked Bethany about the 2 other incidents where Kaylee had mentioned some weird things that had happened. Bethany told me about an incident at Winco where a male had followed her around the store, watched her check out, and then followed her to a vehicle. Xana was waiting in the vehicle. Bethany stated Kaylee said the male was African American and in his late 20s. Bethany felt it happened sometime before Halloween, so mid to late October. Bethany stated Kaylee purchased a case of White Claws for Xana. Bethany and her roommate had found the door open on November 4th at around 10:57, and they entered the house and grabbed golf clubs out of the west first floor bedroom. Okay, hold on. This is like 2 stories into one. Okay. So she buys her the White Claws. Okay. Now let's just pretend like that story's done because it's apparently a new story. Bethany and her roommates had found the door open on November 4th at around 10:57, and they entered the house and grabbed golf clubs out of the west first floor bedroom. Bethany and the other roommates walked around the house with the golf clubs to check the house. Kaylee was not home for this incident as she had gone home for the weekend. Wind was blowing and the screws on the hinges were loose, and Xana's dad fixed it before he left that weekend. That would be the lock that he supposedly fixed. Okay, so that wasn't a lock. That was screws on the door. Kaylee told everyone about an incident where she saw a male watching her when she had taken Murphy out back to go to the bathroom. Bethany could not remember when this happened, but she could not provide an actual day. Bethany stated she had been at chapter meeting at the time Kaylee called them, asking them if they were going to be home soon. Okay. He could have been. He could have went into the house if he knew that they weren't going to be home. I don't know if he would be that bold. Maybe he would, though. I mean, he went in there in the dead of night. But I just don't know if he'd go, like, in the middle of the day. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe, though. So the following is a timeline of events of November 2022 to November 13th, 2022. Bethany stated she was the last one in the house to wake up, and when she got up, Ethan was in the house in the living room, and Kaylee, Dylan, Maddie, and Xana were all gone. Bethany felt she got up sometime between 10 and 11 in the morning. Bethany stated she checked her Find My Friends app and saw they were at Taco Bell at the time. Once Kaylee, Dylan, Maddie, and Xana got back, they were getting ready for the day. Kaylee, Dylan, Maddie, and Bethany were in Kaylee's room, and they were getting ready for a party at Taylor Street. Oh, that's too big. The Whites. So the house belonged to redacted, redacted, and redacted. The apartment is located on the second floor on the far east side of the apartment building. Bethany stated this was between 11 to 12 in the afternoon. Bethany stated Kaylee left for the Whites before the rest of the group. Bethany stated she left at around 2 p.m. with Maddie, Dylan, Xana, Ethan, Hunter Johnson, redacted, redacted, they're all redacted. Bethany stated she started drinking at around 11:30 or 12 when still at 1122 King Road. Bethany stated she was drinking mimosas and high noons throughout the night. Bethany also stated she also played a drinking game called Rage Cage later in the night. Don't know what that is. Wow. Rage Cage. Okay. They didn't have that drinking game when I was younger. Bethany also stated, maybe they did. She also played Bethany felt she drank a 12-pack of high noons during the night, 2 mimosas in a standard wine glass. Bethany was unsure of what she had been drinking when she played Rage Cage. Wow. Okay. Bethany stated she was at the Whites up until around 15:48 hours when she left with Xana, Maddie, Kaylee, and Dylan. Oh, wait, sorry. I'm sorry, there was a period there. So Bethany stated she was at the Whites up until around 10:48 hours when she left with Xana. Maddie, Kaylee, and Dylan stayed at the Whites. Oh, my cat might went out. Ethan had left before her and Xana. Sorry. Bethany and Xana went to Redacted's place somewhere on Taylor. Bethany and Xana left there at around 16:51 and went back to 1122 King Road. Bethany, Xana, Maddie, Kaylee, and Dylan were all at the house and made food. Ethan was not at the house during this time. At around 1800 hours, Bethany, Xana, Maddie, Kaylee, and Dylan all went to take a nap, and they all set alarms for 200 hours, 2,000 hours. Bethany got up at 2,000 hours. Okay. You want to go out? Oh, where'd he go? Oh, yep, he does. He's on my walking pad. Hold on one second. Let me just let the cat out real quick. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, yeah, and I forgot to tell you, I did memorize. I woke up this morning and I was like, 163214. And I was like, dang, you did it. You ain't even got a name anymore. So, where were we at before the cat interrupted me? Okay. Once they had all woke up, they got ready to go to the blank for a house party. Redacted. Maddie and Bethany left first to go to Redacted's apartment at around 2100 hours. Kaylee stayed home and was not going to go to the party at Redacted. Ethan and Xana came over to the party after Bethany and Maddie. Dylan did not come with the rest and walked over at a later time. Maddie was not there for very long, and she went back to the house to go to the club with Kaylee. Bethany felt Maddie left sometime after 2109 hours. One of Bethany's friends, Redacted, got to the Redacted and hung out with her. Bethany stated Redacted showed up around 2200 hours. They stayed in one of the apartments for a little longer, and she and Redacted went up to the main house for the Redacted fraternity. Bethany stated this might have been around 2230 to 2245 hours. Bethany states he hung out in the main part of the house for a while, and before she left the Redacted fraternity, she saw Ethan and Xana in Redacted's apartment. Bethany stated this was at around 0017 hours. So Bethany and Redacted went to Redacted's house again on Taylor. Bethany stated her Redacteds were the only ones at the house. So there was like some people there that weren't the roommates. Bethany stated she walked home at around 100 hours, and Redacted and Redacted were the only one in the house. Bethany, Dylan, and Redacted were watching Vampire Diaries for a while, and at around 0122 hours, Redacted left. Dylan went to her room after Redacted left at around 200 hours. Kaylee, Maddie came home. Maddie, Kaylee, Dylan, and Bethany went up to Kaylee's bedroom once they got home. Kaylee was getting ready for bed as they were hanging out in her room. Bethany, Maddie, and Dylan went downstairs, and Maddie and Bethany took Murphy outside to let him go to the bathroom. Bethany only stayed outside for a short time, and she then went back into the house and put something away in her cupboard and grabbed a bag of chips. Bethany went downstairs to go to bed. Bethany stated nothing was unusual about Maddie and Bethany's demeanor when they got home. I'm assuming, yeah. Bethany stated they both appeared to be happy. Bethany said Maddie was highly intoxicated, and she had not seen her at that level of intoxication for a very long time. Bethany said when she went to bed, she was using her iPad to watch a TV show off of Hulu. Bethany, she said she was watching Baby Daddy. I don't know who that is actually. Bethany could not remember what episode she was watching or how long she was watching. As she was watching the show, Maddie came downstairs and asked her if she had Murphy with her because she could not find him. Bethany told her no. Bethany said her door was locked and she normally locks her door when she goes to bed. Bethany told me she eventually turned off the show and her iPad and went to sleep. Bethany said she woke up after falling asleep to hearing what she felt was a firecracker go off, and she thought she saw a sparkler going off through the crack under her door. Bethany stated she did not know what happened. Either Bethany called Redacted or Redacted called Bethany and Dylan. Stated she thought she had just seen someone dressed in all black in the house. Bethany said Xana had been wearing all black. Dylan responded by saying she thought he had a ski mask on. Bethany said she didn't really know what to say to what Dylan said. Bethany admitted both her and Dylan get scared easily. Bethany even thought maybe one of Ethan's frat brothers could have been playing a joke. Bethany told Dylan to come down to her room, and Dylan ran down to her room. Bethany tried calling Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan's phones, and nobody answered. Bethany said it was normal for Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan not to answer if they were sleeping if she called late at night. Bethany looked at her phone, and it showed Bethany called Dylan at 0419 and at 0420. Dylan called Bethany back. During the call, Bethany asked Dylan if she heard a firecracker, and Dylan said she did. Bethany could not recall if it was during this call where Dylan was talking about seeing someone in black walking in the house. So I guess they did talk about it. Once Bethany and Dylan were in Bethany's room together, they continued to talk about what they had heard and saw. Bethany told me Dylan said the male in black was walking out of the back door and they had made eye contact with each other. Bethany said Dylan said the male was white with a big nose and that he was possibly holding a small vacuum type object. Big nose, well, inmate number 163214 has one. Bethany and Dylan did not call 911 at the time because Bethany thought Dylan was imagining what she was talking about. Bethany stated both her and Dylan were still drunk and they were very groggy. Bethany told me prior to hearing the firecracker, she thought she heard Murphy bark. She also heard what she thought was a beer pong table moving and cups falling. The beer pong table was located in the living room, which is above Bethany's bedroom. Bethany stated she was not sure what the sequence of events were for sure, but she knows she heard Murphy bark, the beer pong table, and then the firecracker first before she called Dylan to see if she had heard the same thing. Bethany told me she tried calling Xana and Maddie at 0421 and then tried calling Ethan at 0422. Bethany stated she tried calling Maddie, Kaylee, and Xana several more times once Dylan got into her room. Bethany told me when she went to bed, she remembers most of the lights being left on inside the house. Bethany told me after trying to contact the other roommates, she fell back to sleep and then woke up around 7:30 and tried calling her dad about her tooth with no answer, and then called her mom at 8:02 and he answered and asked to talk to her dad. I think that she answered. Her dad called back at 8:09 and she talked to him. This is so messed up. And eventually took Advil for her tooth. Bethany then fell back to sleep. Bethany woke up at around 1100 hours and noticed no one else in the house was up. Bethany stated she knew this because Xana's Snapchat location was not on and it should have been. Bethany and Dylan got scared because they should have been up. Bethany then called her friend, redacted, and told her she and Dylan were scared and asked if she could come and get them. Dylan then called, redacted, and asked her to come over. I think that's Emily. Dylan and Bethany knew Emily was with Hunter, so they knew he would come over with her. Yeah. Hunter arrived at the house and came through the front door. Hunter went up the stairs first, and when she and Dylan went up the stairs, Hunter turned around and told Dylan and Bethany to get out of the house and to call for help. Bethany stated she could see Xana on the floor of her bedroom. Bethany said Xana was wearing underwear and a sweatshirt. Bethany stated the door was partially open, but stated the door should normally be closed. So they kept their door normally closed. Bethany called 911 and was trying to talk to the dispatcher, but was having a hard time talking. Bethany had to give the phone to her friend, redacted, so she could talk to the dispatcher. I asked Bethany if she has ever seen Xana on the floor like that, and like she did that morning. Bethany told me she has never seen this, but has heard Xana would pass out on the floor in the past when she is highly intoxicated. Bethany told me Hunter went back into the house. Bethany could not remember if redacted went into the house. Bethany told me she believed Hunter grabbed a knife from the kitchen when he went back into the house. Bethany stated the police arrived as she was still on the phone and she disconnected with dispatch. And then Bethany could not provide any more information related to this incident. But that was a lot. You would think, yeah. You would think. But I guess as a dentist kid, you probably would never have tooth problems, right? Because your dad would always be like fixing your teeth when you were little. Probably not letting you eat that bad stuff. I don't know. But that's true. I mean, I know to alternate, but that's just because I've been to the dentist a million gazillion times. So is there, oh wait, this is the same one. What'd I do? Put that on there twice? Looks like it. Yeah, it's supplemental 90. Okay. I'm like, wait a minute. Yes, get to the ducking point. I know. He really did protect those girls from seeing anything that they shouldn't have, he didn't want them to see anything anyway. So this is for this is Mogan property release, so Maddie's property. So I received on 1/2/2023, I received a call from Karen Laramie that her redacted was driving to Moscow to retrieve redacted Madison Mogan's car and personal belongings. I emailed Laramie a property release form and she signed it and sent it back. On 1/2/2023 at about 10:44 hours, I received a call from redacted indicating he was on his way to Moscow. I met him at the Moscow City shop at approximately 1300 hours. They collected Maddie Mogan's personal belongings consisting of 7 boxes. And she had lived in that house for 2 years. And 1 tote and a suitcase / bag. 2 of the boxes were flat and contained a mirror and other items. Redacted and his associate, redacted, put Mogan's car on a flatbed trailer to tow home. Redacted signed for the items, and I took a photo of the release along with his driver's license. I wonder if they didn't want anyone in her car because I'm talking like her mom, because she wanted her smell in there or something. Because the 2 guys show up, right? You would think they just like one guy could drop the other guy off and take the car back. But maybe they did it this way so that, it would just, how like parents will keep the scent in the bedrooms and, wherever they can of their kids. Man, I got a lot of these to show you guys, but they're good. This might not be. Okay, this is when they just they sent the disaster relief response team to the King Road residents to be cleaned, but then they told them they needed to stop. So it's on December 30th, 2022 at approximately 8:45 hours. Disaster services responded to the King Road residents cleaning the residents of biohazards and other chemicals used during the crime scene processing. This was a prearranged response. As members of disaster response were setting up their tents and barriers, I received a call from Lake Tahoe County Prosecutor Bill Thompson. Mr. Thompson advised me that a judge's order had just been issued requesting all mitigation and cleanup to be halted immediately. At that point, I instructed the disaster services crew members to stop. I confirmed that the door to the residence had not been opened and no one had entered the residence yet. We're going to have to go back to that video because they were there for an awful long time to not be walking in that house. That's weird. I remember that day. I checked the evidence tape on the door, to ensure the seal had not been broken. I stood by while all of the equipment was loaded back into the response trailer and the entire team left the area. I returned the scene back over to the Northern State Security Guard and replaced the barricade tape across the parking area entrance. I left the scene at that time. So I guess maybe I remember them putting up all of their stuff and they had it like from the truck to the door. You couldn't see if they were walking in and out or not. Remember? They built a tunnel. Yeah. So they maybe were just hanging out in the truck. Didn't know. Thank you, Alexis. I appreciate that. Just hanging out in the truck the whole time? I mean, they weren't there that long. They were, what was it, like 15 minutes and they took everything down? It was crazy fast how fast they were in and out. They were like, we gone. Like, they're like, we ain't got to work today. Come on, guys. We're going to the bar. No, I don't know, but that's what it seemed like. They really left quick. I don't know if you guys remember that or not. But on this channel, we have streamed everything we could stream. So this is from Dustin Blaker, and this is going to be on 1/4/23. And it's transportation of DNA profile to Othram. So it's all it is. It just says, after getting evidence checked into the lab, I assigned for a DNA profile, which had been generated by the ISP forensic lab. This DNA profile was collected from a knife sheath, which was found by ISB investigators from District 2 during the initial search of 1122 King Road on November 13th. The sheath has been transported to the lab by ISP troopers. And it just says on here that they went to through TSA and it never went out of their possession at any time. And during TSA it stayed in the suitcase. Like no one touched it. So, no contaminating that. Someone will say, well, Brian was working for TSA. So here it's Dustin Blaker, 1/4/23. On November 13th, what is this? Transport of deceased to, redacted. This is when they're going to talk about the bodies now. So remember, we never really heard about the bodies and stuff. We knew that there was there's no pictures of or audio, video or pictures or audio or any of that of them taking the victims out. And I've always suspected, just because the news, there wasn't that much news in the area at the time when this first happened, right? No one knew about it. And the only ones that did know about it were the 2 local stations, and they were probably there. They probably just knew this is very insensitive if we continue to roll our cameras, right? So I think that's why they took them off. So. +50 times. It would be, it's an amazing, and thanks for your question. It's amazing what adrenaline can do to someone. And I think that's what it was. It was pure adrenaline, because they said it with Kaylee's injuries that with all the injuries that they used more force than what was necessary. And so that's pretty scary to think of. Yeah, it was. They had a solid chain of custody on that. But it says here that on November 13th, 2022, I was at the King Road residence assisting with homicide investigation and search warrant at the address. And this is from 1-4, but it talks about that. Redacted was called to remove the 4 deceased and then transport them to Spokane for autopsies to be performed. At around 21:28 hours, what would that be? Hold on. So they didn't take them out. That would be 9:28 p.m. Wow, that's wow. Hopelessly inquisitive. I'm not sure who that was. I think they were like marshals or something. The ones that went back to the scenes that you're talking about. I think they might have been marshals. But if we if we could figure out the date, we could figure out through the paperwork maybe who they were. It says here, at around 21:28 hours, I had Officer Jay Walters follow when they transported Xana and Ethan from 1122 King Road to their facility. I had Officer Walters stay at Redacted with Xana and Ethan so they could return and transport Kaylee and Madison. I followed Redacted from King Road back to their facility after they collected Kaylee and Madison. Once at the facility, I watched Redacted place 4 name tags on the 4 deceased along with corresponding numbers to help identify them. I then placed evidence tape on the body bags, sealing the bags up until they arrive in Spokane and the autopsies can be completed. I photographed the evidence tape and I have burned these photos onto a DVD, which was booked into evidence. I then saw Redacted place the 4 deceased into a cooler located in his facility. Sad. And that was at 21:28 hours. So that would have been later in the evening. They took them out 2 at a time. Yeah. It seems like a lot of the stuff that they did was like two at a time. Like they even had to like dry their clothes in the dryers, remember? And they had Xana and Ethan's together and Maddie and Kaylee's together, which makes sense because to, try to contain the crime scenes, that would be the best way to, do that. Okay. I was like, did I change a page yet? But I didn't. So then this one's from Lawrence Mowry, and it's on January 5th, 2023. So it's going to be after Brian's arrested. On December 12th, 2023, I applied for and was granted a warrant for sales records from Blue Ridge Knives. And one of the knives that they found at his parents' house, was a Blue Ridge knife for K-Bar KA1217S, USMC fighting knife sheath, and known purchases and quantities of Blue Ridge knives from K-Bar, including on or about 3/8/2022. The purchase of 360 units on or about 6/24/2022. The purchase of 480 units. Blue Ridge Knives are a wholesaler for K-Bar knives and sheaths. FBI S.A. Douglas assisted in the service of the warrant to Alon Financial. On December 16th, 2022, I received an email from S.A. Douglas providing the data requested pursuant to the warrant. I downloaded the files to the forensic computers located in the secure forensic computer lab at the Moscow department. So that one I really didn't need to read because that wasn't, it was just them they're looking for the knife at that point. Like they're looking to see where he could have purchased it. So Brett Payne put this one in, and it just says collection of additional evidence. And I don't know. I was trying to see like whose room this was in. But it doesn't say. At approximately 49 or 60. Just the King Road house. The above items were collected in and transported to the Moscow Police Department and booked into evidence. So evidence was the one night. Okay, so it's going to be Maddie's room. It looks like nightstand, pink comforter, blue blanket, pillows. Maybe it's all of it. No, mattress, bed frame. It is. It's all of it. Okay, so a nightstand, the pink comforter, a blue blanket, pillows, mattress, bed frame, another mattress, another bed frame, pillows, sheet, nightstand, and pillows. So basically all the stuff that you would have that would probably have like biologicals on them. I think there's another one too that's coming up. So then this one is for on January 4th at approximately 10:30 hours, I released the remainder of Dylan Mortenson's personal property to, I think that's her mom or stepmom. On January 5th, I learned from Bill Thompson, per the recent signed court order to hold all evidence, Dylan's items fell under that order. Thompson stated his office would contact Dylan Mortenson and make arrangements to have Dylan's items returned to MPD. So she got some items back, you know, like her Jordans and stuff, and her puffy coat and her jewelry and, you know, a couple other little things. And they were like, nope, bring it back. I don't know why they would even be taking stuff out. I mean, I just, to me, blew my mind. So then on January 6th, Sergeant Blaker traveled to Boise, Idaho, and picked up Dylan's items, you know, and transported them back. Okay, so that was the one I was telling you about. Was it not taken and booked into evidence? I don't know. I think it's just Dylan's. Yeah, it's just Dylan's. It was, well, this was, so they got Dylan's stuff, but what it was Bill. So, okay. So they got her stuff or whatever, but they had given her, she wanted a few things, you know, out of her room. And they were like, okay, you know, and I can kind of see that, like where the cops are like, oh, just give her a couple little things out of her room. Right. You know what I mean? But it's a crime scene still. Like we just arrested someone and we didn't even clean the place yet. We just boarded it back up. You know, like can't be doing that. I thought it was pretty funny though. So I was like, and we're reading them all, like all the documents. I'm telling you, I'm like, I'm not leaving nothing out. Other than like stuff that's like transporting stuff. Like when it's like stuff like that, some of those documents I did leave out. Like if it's just being passed off to someone, like, hey, I took a picture and then I passed it off to him, like that stuff. And there was only like 4 or 5 of those. So this is an interview with Brian Koberger's neighbor, Danny Vargas. I have like a little gnat right there. It's getting on my nerves. Danny Vargas did this interview. So interview with Brian Koberger's neighbor. I don't know their names. We're going to call them FA and AA. I don't know. No, let's just call them redacted. On December 30th, 2022 at approximately 6:30 hours, I stood by while a search warrant was served at Steptoe Village Apartments, the resident of Brian Koberger. I'm assuming that's that. Yeah, it is. While on scene of the neighbors, redacted, who lived in the same building, stated her husband returned home and he might have additional information to add regarding Brian. Redacted had been interviewed earlier in the day by several FBI agents prior to Redacted returning home. Detective Mowry and I met with Redacted and Redacted in their apartment. I recorded the conversation with my phone and informed them I would be recording our conversation, which they were fine with. Redacted said she had been speaking with Redacted about the questions she was asked, one question being if she had ever seen Brian with anyone else. Redacted told me they did remember a time when they returned home and said they saw Brian sitting on the stairs leading up to his apartment next to a male. They described the male as having light brown skin, a sleeve tattoo on his left arm, wearing a sleeveless shirt and shorts. Redacted said the male was riding a dark-colored blue or black Harley-type motorcycle. They said the motorcycle was not a sports bike and was very loud. They said the Redacted said they both noticed Brian and the male talking, but said as soon as they got closer, both Brian and the male stopped talking and looked at them. Well, normally that's what happens when someone's walking towards you. You stop talking and you look up. I mean, I would. Redacted said Brian acknowledged them and asked how it was going. Redacted said it seemed as if Brian was acting overly nice. Redacted said when they walked away to their apartment, Brian and the male were still silent and did not continue their conversation. Redacted said he saw the male get up and heard the motorcycle start, but did not see him drive off. They said this was the only time they ever saw this person and or saw or heard the motorcycle. They said that Brian seemed like a quiet person and they remembered meeting Brian's dad when Brian moved in. Redacted said Brian's dad was very talkative. They said Brian's car was always clean and neat, even on rainy days. Redacted said Brian would often park his car right in front of their bedroom window and they would notice the headlights when he came and went. They said that they did not notice when and if Brian changed the plates on his vehicle. Redacted looked through his phone and thought of the night of the murders. He probably went to bed around midnight. Redacted did not remember seeing lights from Brian's car and or knowing if Brian was home or not. They mentioned or another occasion seeing Brian returning home around 100 hours and said he was wearing dark clothing, had on a dark colored backpack, and when they said hi to him, he seemed pretty short with them. Redacted did not remember what day this occurred, but said it was not the night of the murders. They said she said she worked late hours often and would also see Brian returning home around the same time she would, around 1 to 2 in the morning. We thanked Redacted for their time and told them to contact us if they remembered anything else. So it was booked and it was, put into evidence. So maybe Monchichi, but wonder why he didn't use it. He didn't need to. And if he's wearing Dickies coveralls, where is he going to hold it? Unless he had on, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he had on a damn tool belt at this point. All right, I'm going to X out some of these. That way we can see how many we have left. Wow. Went through a lot. Okay. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Man, we got 12 left. They did take a gun from him in PA, yeah. Okay, so next one here is interview with, I don't know this person's name, MM. That's what Molly. Oh, this is the DoorDash. Okay. We're just going to call her Molly. We know her last name, but we don't need to put it out there. And I hope she's doing okay. So on November 23rd, 2022, this is going to be the DoorDash interview. So this is her interview that she did with the cops. On November 23rd, 2022, at approximately 20:39 hours, Molly came to the Moscow Police Department to be interviewed about her presence in the area of King Road during the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022. Molly was identified as being in the area through records obtained from DoorDash via a search warrant and was confirmed as being in the area based off a Google geofence warrant, which was obtained as a result of this investigation. I was accompanied by FBI Special Agent Alex Skelton during this interview. Molly told me she worked for 12 to 18 hours on the night November 12th to the 13th and received 3 orders in the King Road / Queen Road area. 2 of the orders were at the Queen Road apartment complex, which is immediately to the east of 1122 King Road. Molly said the delivery at 1122 King Road was her final order for the evening. Molly said she could not find the 1122 King Road address as the address number was hidden by the porch light, which caused her to remain in the area for approximately 15 minutes. Molly also stated her Google Maps told her to go to the parking lot immediately behind 1122 King Road. Molly stated she initially parked in the front of 1122 King Road and could see a female in the top left window, the third-story bathroom. Molly said she saw the same female a couple more times in the same window, and she would duck down when Molly looked at her. I don't know who that would be. Molly then said she drove to the back parking lot behind 1122 King Road and parked. She stated she could see the back courtyard area behind the house and noticed all the lights were on. Molly stated her map told her to walk into the back of the house, but she did not feel comfortable doing so because there was no path. Molly said she started to walk down the road, which runs Sedan drove. Okay. Or which runs, north and south immediately to the east of the residence. Molly stated a tan sedan drove next to her while she was walking. Molly said there was one male driver and noticed he did not look at me. She said he looked completely zoned and just drove by her. That sounds like someone we know. 163214. Molly later stated the driver. The driver was white with blonde or red spiky hair. Okay, Molly. Molly also noticed the dome light in the car was on when it went by and later told me the male was wearing a light collared shirt. Molly stated she walked back up to her car and drove back to the front of 1122 King Road, at which point she saw the address numbers. Molly said she placed the order at the front door, took a picture, and then left at approximately 400 hours. During the time Molly was in the area of the King Road residence, the white Elantra can be seen via the 1112 King Road camera driving back and forth on Walenta Drive and then entered the King Road Queen Road loop at approximately 3:56 hours. At the point Molly pulled into the front parking lot before she dropped the order off, the white Elantra pulled in behind Molly's vehicle and then exited the King Road at approximately 3:58 hours. Molly did not mention seeing the white Elantra behind her at any time. I continued to question Molly about her time near the residence. She told me she walked down Queen Road at one point with her flashlight out. Molly, could that be like a reflection? The door, like if she has her flashlight out, she's trying to find the front door to give the food. Could it have shown into Bethany's bottom and then maybe let's say it shines through the window and it reflects off the mirror and it looks like there's like something, on the floor. I don't know. I think the tan car, really, she meant white car, but she did say tan. So I don't know what color tan that would be, but I don't know if she meant like tan gold or if she wasn't sure exactly the color, but yeah, she said gold. She said tan. I don't know whose car that would be. But whoever was in that car didn't look at her, she said. And then it says, I continued to question Molly about her time near the residence. She told me she walked down Queen Road at one point with her flashlight out. Molly can be seen doing so on the footage from 1112, I guess, King Road. Molly also continued. Actually, I'm going to say that. I'm not going to say that because I don't know where on King Road that camera was. Molly also continued to tell me the female she saw in the upstairs bathroom window would duck down when Molly looked at her. Molly described her as having long brown hair. Molly stated she could not identify the girl as one of the victims. It has to be Xana. Why would she be in the third story bathroom? Approximately 30 minutes into the interview, S.A. Skelton requested Molly take part in a cognitive interview. Molly agreed, and S.A. Skelton began the cognitive interview. During this interview, Molly confirmed much of the information she already told us. Molly was able to remember she had her dog with her during one of her walks in the area, but did not clarify much more in the ways of the details of the evening. We thank Molly for her cooperation, offered any support she may need, and concluded our interview. Subsequent investigation of video footage and cellular data showed the tan sedan Molly saw was likely a light-colored SUV which left the area. Moreover, it does not appear Molly saw the white Elantra at any point during her time near the residence. Well, now she's saying she did. But see, that's why you got to go by the documents. I don't know. I'm just going by the documents. Because people's minds will, I have a feeling they can make up things. Not like in a bad way, but just like want to help. You know what I mean? Like you just want to help. And then you think, maybe I did see a white car. Like, did I? Maybe I did. You know what I mean? Like, and you like punk yourself out, like doing it. I don't know. But it says here on December 29th, this is Kohlberger's phone data. So based on the above information, the Latah County Court signed an order finding probable cause for the criminal complaint charging burglary, Idaho Code 18-1401, 1403, and 4 counts of murder in the first degree, Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004, all felonies. A warrant of arrest was issued for Brian C. Kohlberger. On December 29th, 2022, Brian Kohlberger was arrested at his family's home, 119 Lambsden Drive in Albrightsville. I remember that address. You can redact it all you want. That same day, a Pennsylvania magistrate signed a search warrant for the residence, which included Brian's part of the search warrant, Kohlberger's cell phone. Brian's, if I make it bigger, I can probably see it better. Kohlberger's cell phone device is currently in evidence at the FBI Philadelphia Regional Computer Forensic Laboratory, located at redacted. The phone data was extracted by FBI SSA Jeffrey Tanzola, subsequent to the warrant being served. On January 9th, 2023, I received a hard drive from SSA Tanzola, which contains a copy of the data extracted from the phone belonging to Kohlberger. The data is saved on a Seagate 2 terabyte external USB drive with serial number redacted and is labeled as Philadelphia RCFL evidence and has the evidence number. I applied for and was granted a warrant seeking the evidence from the hard drive provided by Pennsylvania, which contains a forensic image of Brian Kohlberger's phone, which was stored in the secured computer forensics lab at the Moscow Police Department. At 15:55 hours on January 9th, 2023, I served the warrant on the hard drive located in the forensics lab. Pursuant to the warrant, I downloaded the files to the forensic computers located in the secure forensic computer lab at the Moscow Police Department. So, okay. So this is what he began. I began examining the data for any accounts linked to the phone and Kohlberger with other electronic service providers. And these are the names of the providers that he did. Yik Yak, LinkedIn, Reddit, Twitter, Tinder, Dropbox, Washington Trust Bank, PayPal, YouTube, TikTok, Musical.ly, Amazon, Visa, Prepaid Processing.com, Win2Meet, Activision, GroupMe, NetTeller, Hulu, Instagram, Facebook, PSECU, Spotify, Booking.com, Travelocity, Strava, NordVPN. These electronic service providers may be storing data relevant to the investigation, which may have been deleted from the device. I will be requesting assistance from the Latah County Prosecutor's Office to apply for warrants for these locations. And we saw the warrants that they did get. What's going on? It's got really warm all of a sudden. Woo. Yeah, that would, so if that was the case, C minor, then that would make her in the living room. It said, I think it said that it was to the left. I think that's what it said anyway. So this was an interview with, I believe, Emily Allant. I'm going to make sure. I'm pretty sure this is her. Yeah. But on November 13th, 2022, at approximately 13:49 hours, I interviewed redacted at the Moscow Police Department, referenced the quadruple homicide at King Road. I asked redacted what her relationship to the victims was. She told me Cornota was her best friend and the others were all her close friends as well. After I collected her information, I asked Redacted to tell me about her day on November 12th, 2022. So she stated she left the football game and then went to see friends of hers at an apartment near hers on Taylor Avenue. She stated she arrived at her apartment at approximately 20-30 hours. She stated that she and a group of her friends all went to sleep early the evening of November 12th, 2022. She stated that they planned to go to the lodge party but did not end up going. She stated she woke up at approximately 100 hours and then stayed up watching TV until approximately 300 hours, at which point they went back to sleep. Hold on 1 second. So sorry. What the heck's what's he making? Sorry, that's not very professional of me, but I needed to text him. I could smell something on my belly is growling right now. I could smell something out there cooking. I bet you he's cooking that organic stuff, organic spaghetti or something. He'll hear me making fun of him. Sorry. So she stated that she had woke up at approximately 100 hours and then stayed up watching TV until approximately 300 hours, at which point they went back to sleep. She stated she woke up at approximately 10:30 hours on November 13th, 2022. I know that's who it is, but she stated that Mortensen called her at approximately 11:51 hours that morning and said last night around 4 a.m. she heard and saw a man, and she and Bethany were locked in their room sleeping, and added she wanted Redacted to come over to check the house because she was too scared. Redacted also said Mortensen heard Gonzalez scream and run up the stairs. A while later, Mortensen came out of her room and saw the man staring at her. Redacted stated the man didn't do anything to Mortensen. Mortensen said she stayed locked in her room and heard the side door close. So she ran into Bethany's room. I asked Redacted if she asked Mortensen why she didn't call anyone that night. Mortensen told her it was because she was intoxicated and didn't want to believe what was going on. Mortensen also told Redacted the man was wearing a mask and could only see his eyes and nose. Redacted stated Redacted went over to the house just before her. When Redacted arrived, she stated she went upstairs but was stopped by Redacted, who told her she didn't want to see it. Redacted went back outside and the officers responded. I asked Redacted if anything seemed out of the ordinary from what she saw. She told me there was a large party at the house on Friday, November 11th, 2022. She stated the house was a mess due to the party. She also told me she saw a knife laying on the floor at the top of the stairs when she went inside. She described the knife as a steak knife. It was later determined that her boyfriend had grabbed this knife when he entered the house. She stated she remained outside after she walked out of the residence until law enforcement arrived. She also stated that she came to the Moscow Police Department to be interviewed. They asked if she knew who would commit the murders. She stated she did not know. She added that she and Kernodle were no longer Redacted sorority members. I asked her if there had been any stalking behavior or recent suspicious circumstances, and she stated there had not been anything she could remember. She also stated there were no other conflicts with the other victims she knew of. So that concluded the interview. And then they're interviewing just like everybody. I don't know who this is either. Okay, we're going to go down here though. So it says here, Redacted told me she lives at Taylor Avenue. These apartments are referred to as the Whites. I think that's Josie. Stated she went to 1122 King Road in the afternoon of 11:12 and was hanging out with Xana. She stated that she went to the Whites at around 1300 hours for different parties in the apartment complex. Ethan left to go to his sister's formal, but Redacted was not sure what time that was at. Redacted felt she got to Xana's house around 12:30 on 11/12/22. She stated she saw Xana, Ethan, Dylan, Bethany, Kaylee, Maddie, and a couple of people that are redacted. She told me she feels she last saw Xana and Ethan at around 1500 hours, but was not sure. She told me she got a text from Ethan asking for the Snapchat for Redacted, but she never sent it to him. Redacted did not know why Ethan wanted this information and stated as far as she knew, they did not have any issues with each other. Redacted told me where she heard from others that Kaylee had seen some random guy behind the house when she took Murphy out to pee. She also heard of an incident where some random guy followed Kaylee around Winco and followed her out of the store, and she thought he tried to get into her car. But she was not sure if she had heard this from either Bethany or Dylan could tell us more. Redacted told me she knows Dan and Ethan do like to use Adderall when they drink, but they do not know who they got it from or if they took any on 11/12/22. And that was all of the interview. Okay. Now this was just talking about this. I think this is going to be, hold on. This one isn't it? Okay. Redacted saw and heard all the emergency lights and sirens and looked out and saw some of her friends standing outside with white blankets around them. Redacted went out and brought some more blankets to the people outside to try and help. She told me a few weeks ago on October 14th at around 100 hours, 0100, she heard what she thought was a male walk up to her door and try to open her door. She stated she had her deadbolt and the door was both locked. She told me she saw the photos posted on Snapchat by Kaylee showing Kaylee and Maddie had been at the corner club and the grub truck. So that was a short interview. And then they took out more evidence, but it looks like the same evidence. But this just says comforter and doesn't say pink comforter. So nightstand still there, comforter, blue blanket, pillows, mattress, bed frame, mattress, bed frame, pillows, shelf, and pictures new. So the shelf and picture is from Maddie's room above her bed, nightstand and pillows. So, okay, it says we collected the mattress, bed frame, nightstand, pillows, and blankets from Kernodle's room. We also collected the mattress, bed frames, folding frames, nightstand, pillows, and shelf from the east wall of Mogan's room. The items were wrapped and transported separately back to the Moscow Police Department, where they were placed on opposite sides of the MPD evidence bay. So that's when they took the mattresses and stuff out of the house. Now, this is going to be Maisie Chapin's interview. So on November 13th, at approximately 14:20 hours, I interviewed Maisie Chapin at the Moscow Police Department, referenced the quadruple homicides at King Road. Maisie is Ethan Chapin's triplet sister. Maisie consented to a forensic search of her phone, and I collected it from her. I asked Maisie to tell me what her day looked like on November 12th, 2022. Maisie stated that she had her redacted formal the night of November 12th, 2022. Maisie stated she did not do much prior to the formal and then went to the Hunga Dunga for the event at approximately 1900 hours. Maisie said Hunter, I don't know who that is, and Ethan Chapin left the formal with several other friends at approximately 2000 hours. Maisie stated she was dropped off at her house as the group was planning to go to the lodge party. However, Maisie stated she did not go and remained at her sorority until Hunter called her the morning of November 13th, 2022 at approximately 12:30 hours. Maisie stated Hunter told her to come to Xana's when he called her. Maisie said Hunter did not elaborate on why she needed to come to the house. Maisie stated Hunter, and then all the redacted names, were all there when she arrived. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 people were there. Maisie said someone told her when she got there that someone was in the house and Ethan and Xana didn't make it. Maisie told me Ethan, Xana, and Hunter had been texting her the night prior asking her to come to the party. Maisie said she saw the text once she woke up the morning of November 13th, 2022. Maisie stated she did not go to the house that morning. She did not go into the house in that morning. Maisie could not think of anyone or any reason why someone would commit the homicides. This is another interview. I don't know who this is with. On November 14th, at around 15:52 hours, I called KF to arrange an interview with her. Okay, so Redacted told me she had contact with Bethany and Dylan on 11/12. Dylan arrived at her residence at 22:30, and Bethany arrived at her residence around 23:30. Redacted lives at Taylor Avenue. Bethany and Dylan were at her residence for 2 to 3 hours. Redacted stated she walked them past the Whites sometime before 200 hours or 0200 hours, but she could not positively tell me. Redacted stated she stayed on Taylor and then turned around, and she was not sure what route they took home for sure, but felt they kept walking past on Taylor towards King. Redacted stated there was a group of 3 or 4 other females with Bethany and Dylan at the time. And she did not state she was drunk at the time, and she could not recall all the events. She did state she was drunk at the time and could not recall all the events and everyone who was present with the group. I mean, yeah, they're college kids on game day, like, I wonder if he picked that day, like, on purpose, like, knowing that they would all be drinking, you know what I mean? It's game day. Like, that's, everybody's drinking on game day normally. I know, look at all this discovery we got. We just had to wait a little bit. So this is another interview. I think this is the Grub truck or the Uber. Yeah. So this is the Uber Lyft driver. We don't really need to read through this. I don't think it was anything. Yeah. So Kaylee contacted him on 11/12 at around 2200 hours and asked if he could pick up her and some friends and go up at 1122 King Road and take them to the Corner Club. Picked up, so he went there to pick up Kaylee, Maddie, and one other female. And then he was contacted by Kaylee again and asked if he could pick up her up and some of her friends up at the Grub truck. It says that she said that she would be there like after he pulls up to get them at the Grub truck, that she'd be out in just a minute. She's ordered 75 and there was 78. They're on 75. Kaylee and Maddie came to the vehicle a short time later. Kaylee was in the front passenger seat and Maddie was in the rear seat. Maddie was eating the food from Grub truck with her hands. She wasn't even hungry. I think that she said that in the video or something. Like, she's like, we'll just share this. But like, it's so funny. Oh my goodness. Why would you give her the food? We all saw how tipsy Maddie was that night. She was eating the food with her hands in the back seat, just chilling. She was hangry. Yeah. And that's, like, I don't even know her. Like, we don't know these kids, but we do know these kids, I feel like. And because that sounds like her. Like, that sounds like between the two of them, if you put them together, if they were drinking, I could totally see Maddie doing that. Because that sounds like a little savage move, right? And man, do you remember the drunk days? I remember the drunk days. Ooh. I don't even like carbonara. I don't like cheese, but I'm about to get me some just so I can say I had it. I've had it. I've never had it. Okay. That's funny. I didn't read that bottom part in the first time. That's funny. That's really funny. She was eating with her hands. So, interview with Redacted. Let me see. Okay, so I think this is Jack Decor. Yeah, it is Jack. I asked Decor to tell me about his day on November 12th, 2022. Decor stated he worked at Redacted and worked from 1400 hours to 2210 hours on November 12th. Decor stated he left his work and dropped off some food for a friend working at the Corner Club. Decor stated he went home, Redacted King Road, and then returned to the Corner Club around 2300 hours. Decor stated he saw Gonzalez at the Corner Club and spoke to her briefly. Decor stated he left the Corner Club but was unsure if Gonzalez left before or after him. Decor stated he went to bed when he got home. When Decor woke, he told me he saw commotion down the street. 1122 King Road is visible from his spot on King Road. Decor stated he later looked at his phone and saw several missed calls from Gonzalez and Mogan from the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022. I clarified Decor's timeline for the night prior. He told me he left the corner club at approximately 1 o'clock and returned home. Decor said he got a ride from the redacted fraternity. He told me he thought he went to sleep at approximately 1:30 hours and woke up at approximately 11:30 hours on November 13th, 2022. I asked Decor to tell me what the commotion was. He mentioned Decor told me he saw law enforcement and emergency vehicles in front of King Road. So he walked over to see what was happening. I asked Decor to clarify the missed calls he received early that morning. Decor told me he received multiple missed calls from Gonzalez and Mogan, one of which was FaceTime. And they were between 240 and 300 hours. Decor also said Gonzalez texted him to tell him he could come to her house to retrieve his vape pen. So we know who vape pen that is. I asked Decor if he noticed or heard anything suspicious anytime recently. Decor stated he saw a dark gold minivan backing up King Road approximately 1 to 2 months prior. Decor stated he did not remember any other suspicious circumstances. Decor did add Gonzalez would call him on occasion when she was walking home alone or when she was feeling sketched out. Decor stated there were people coming in and out of 1122 King Road frequently, and more people knew the code to their door than they should have. I was going to say that earlier. I was going to say, I wonder how many people actually know the code, because she listed 10. There's probably really 100. But Decor stated he was not sure if the residents regularly locked the rear sliding glass door. Decor also told me he and Gonzalez owned a dog, a golden doodle named Murphy, with Gonzalez. He also told me Gonzalez was taking the dog out sometime in the past when Gonzalez saw a shadowy figure behind the house. Decor stated nothing else came out of the incident. I asked Decor about his relationship with Gonzalez. He told me they had dated for approximately 5 years and broke up several months prior due to a loss of spark, coupled with Gonzalez leaving for a job in Texas. Decor stated there wasn't conflict and the breakup was mutual. I asked Decor if there was anyone who flirted with Gonzalez. Decor stated there was a male by the name of Redacted who flirted with Gonzalez. Decor did not know of any past stalking incidents, nor did he know who would have committed the murders. I asked Decor about his conversation with Gonzalez at the corner club. He said the conversation was short but normal. Decor did not have any further information for me during this interview, so I concluded my interview with Decor. Okay, and then we have one more. What are you doing? Kind of bury something over there, girlfriend? Did you hear her over there scratching away? So this is from Brett Payne, and this is investigation of glove. What are you doing? You big weirdo? She's just stretching. I should show you guys. Oh my gosh. She's almost as long as the damn. She wouldn't be able to fit in a 10 by 12 cell. Gel cell. So I am going to do a little experiment with that too. I'm going to tape off 10 by 12 in here and see how small of a space that would be. Maybe I could try to stay in that space for one whole day. Try to live like Koberger. That's okay. I don't have to do that though. Okay. So this is on November 24th, 2022. I collected a black polar penguin glove from the parking lot of 1122 King Road. I conducted subsequent investigation by watching the BWC of Officer Nunes, the first MPD officer on scene, and looking over the scene photos taken by the ISP forensic team. None of these sources showed the glove was present during officers' initial response to the scene or during the processing of the scene. On November 13th. It is unclear where the glove came from at this time of writing. Well, that glove would have been the one that Chris McDonough found. So, according to this report, Chris McDonough, that glove, it was either put there or it was dropped inside the crime scene area, or I don't know. But they found it on November 24th, and the crime happened November 13th. So that section was already like taped off, right? Do you think that Chris McDonough would do that? Oh, thank you, Mary Beth. I didn't even see. I saw that you sent that earlier, and I like didn't see that. I saw blue or green or whatever that color is, teal, but I didn't even I didn't even know that it was you or anyone else. I don't know what I was thinking. I remember seeing it now that it's there. Thank you, Mary Beth, for gifting $2. That's really nice of you. And thank you, Michelle, for the $20 super sticker. That's very nice of you too. I appreciate that. Oh, did you see this? I mean, Ann did, if we're talking about Ann Taylor, she didn't even talk. She talked in the last hearing for like 2 seconds, but the hearing before, she lost massive habit. She's like, go ahead. I'm done with them. I'm done. I was like, dang. So I'm just wondering about the glove now. Did you plant the glove? Did someone else plant the glove? Polar penguin. That sounds like a worker's glove, but we saw a picture of it. And now we'll be able to really see it. Okay, polar penguin. It's black, so it looks like this. Yeah, like a worker's glove. Isn't? Just show me the glove. I don't need any of the. Okay, this is the glove. $4.99. Yeah, it could have blown out of a garbage truck. Yeah, Bicka Barlow. I guess you're ready to go out there. Well, I guess it's time for me to go. Are we talking about the OJ case? So no, what happened was on the 20th, and I'll find that document. It'll be in with these. But on the 20th of November, the officers found a glove on the property at 1122 King Road. And they bagged it up or whatever. They collected it. But then I remember that on Thanksgiving, because I thought this was kind of weird, Chris McDonough and his wife were cruising around the murder house. I mean, to each their own, and they found this glove, as they're like driving around, they see it. I don't know. So he tells the cops and then they collect it. And that's the glove that they're talking about here. But it says that when they looked back on the body cameras, from the officers that were the initial officers on scene and the ones that processed the crime scene that day, that glove wasn't there. So they, yeah, for your vegan supplements. There was blood traces. There was shoe prints or like a shoe print. Right, Mariska? I don't trust nobody. I'm like, I don't trust nobody. I'm over here like, trust no one. I mean, it's hard to. It's hard, and I'll keep reading the documents to you guys, through the evenings, and we'll make sure that we get all the information out there. And then maybe tomorrow we'll do we do like a question and answer, either tomorrow or Sunday. And we'll just like go through like what we went through, and you guys can just ask me some questions. If I don't know the answers, because we haven't went through that document yet, maybe I can find it, because I do have this. Let me show you. So basically all the documents are all right here. When they were entered, who entered them, like the person, the author. These are all the documents here. If it was phone, if it was evidence, what it was, if it was a tip, warrant return. I don't know why this isn't loading, but it'll load in a minute. It's probably just, people are probably just busy on this site. Oh, or I'm about to run out of storage, it says. So maybe I need to manage my storage. Yeah, there wasn't no snow, but there was like a light dusting, and then there was like mud or whatever you would call it. I guess it'd be frozen because it was 28 degrees. Hey, Felicia, you have to go back now. We're done. We're getting ready to get off here now. But it was a good live. We heard from the DoorDash driver. We heard from Bethany a couple times. I don't know. We heard a lot of stuff. That's why I need to go back through. I've read these twice now, and I could read them a third time and probably still be like, what else was in there? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there was some remaining snow in like the shaded areas. I just remember like the back being like a little bit dusty, that dusty stuff, that comes in. Thanks, Felicia. Lurch. Yeah. Well, I call him inmate number 163. Shit. 163214. I'm just keep remembering he'll be able to remember his number because he's from Pennsylvania and they start with 1 out there with their social security numbers. So I know he'll be able to get that part right. It's 163. Yeah, because my mom's social security, which I mean she's passed away now, so go ahead and take it. But her first 3 letters are like her numbers are 163. I'm like, well, I'll remember those. And then 214, Valentine's Day. I don't know why I put that with Valentine's Day, but I did. That's how it went in my head, computed in my head. Yeah. Now you'll know, everyone's going to know my mom's social. I know her whole social though. That's so weird. I guess most kids don't know their parents' social security numbers, but I had to. You never know. She was a sick lady, not like physically sick. I mean, physically, not like sick in the head. That too. No, just kidding. We did do a little bit of Showalter. They had some interviews with they did an interview with Bethany. She said she wasn't really familiar with who he was. A lot of the people said they really weren't familiar, but that it sounded like that that one person might have said that he sounded like they heard that he could get a little angry. But other than that, nothing. I know. Because Valentine's Day, man. I don't know how I put that in my brain like that. That's just me and numbers because I'm not good with numbers at all. I'm terrible with numbers, actually. I just have a pretty decent memory. I used to. It's not the greatest anymore. But we would play that game, memory as kids. Me and my best friend would play that, and I could tear her up. Hey, Cirrus. Oh, look at her. She's hiding behind the table. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can scoot over. Oh wait, no, because I have another dog right there. But you can see my table for once, and the dog is laying behind it. You could see her big body. If you look hard enough, you'll see the outline of a dog. That's a dog. It looks like a horse, miniature horse, or something like that. But thank you guys all for being here tonight. I appreciate it so much. What was I going to say? Anything new? If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do. Make sure you hit the like button. If you want to become a member, it's still pinned at the top there if you'd like to become a member. Hey, Lynette. I'm trying to think. Oh, if you guys want to, I think I'm going to watch this either tonight or tomorrow morning. I'm going to watch it. I need to watch the 3rd of the Gilgo Beach, but I did put up the 2nd Gilgo Beach for the docuseries. It's 3-part, and it's on Patreon. So if you guys want to go to Patreon, if you ever want to watch something over there, and I do have all the documentaries. The last 4 that came out for Brian Koberger. So the 3 docuseries and then the Peacock documentary, I have those. At some point, I'll probably put more over there that are on my page. Well, no, I don't know if he made me anything. I think he would make something for himself. Look, he didn't even. Tofu. It smelled so good. How did he make it smell so good? He said tofu, LOL. Eaten without me. Now it's 11:10. I'm going to order a pizza and get fat. Actually, I'm going to get him fat because I'm going to eat 1 piece and then he's going to eat the rest of the pizza. That's how we do it around here. And thank you, Mary Beth, for the $2 earlier. I don't know if you heard me for the super sticker. That was so sweet of you. I had saw that somewhere when I was reading, I saw blue pop up and I was like, okay, that's probably a super sticker. Go get that. I'm usually on those pretty good, but That color was bright. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I can give him tofu for the rest of his life. We have a little tofu, you know, cabinet of it's Japanese food for Vincent. I say I'm going to try it sometime, but I'm not. I'm not. He makes it look good, but I would never. It's a trap. It's always a trap for him. I'll be like, let's get some pizza. I smelled that. I don't know what he put on there, but I'll let you guys know because it smelled good. It smelled like he cooked spaghetti or something. Like I was smelling like garlic or something. I don't know. I'm gonna go spend some time with him though, because it's been a long week. It's been a long week, and I feel like I haven't seen him really this week. Well, if you don't want to know what tofu is, it's just vegan food. Oh, and today, if Vincent's mom's listening, they were talking about sneeze candy. And I love sneeze candy because they have it in California. And it was trending on Twitter today. I don't know what's going on with C's, but let me and Vincent know. We want to know what's going on. Tofu fighters. Maisie. You love Japanese food too? See? I'm getting everybody hungry. Yeah, bean curd. Probably Wandering Orphan. He eats okay, so if we ever have to like hunker down and eat what we have in our house right now, he'll be good for a month. Maybe longer. I would be good for 5 minutes. That's so funny, Wandering Orphan. Chicken strips, homemade fries, and gravy. That sounds good, Squeaky Will. You changed your picture. Look at that. You changed your picture. Look at me just putting you on the spot like that. PKC, my mom used to sell C's. Really? We get a box every Christmas. Well, PKC, that's me going, pss, pss, you know. That's me doing that. I love C's like chocolate, and we don't have it here. We don't have anything good. What chocolate do we have here? Don't even know. What the heck do we have in Ohio? Anybody in Ohio know what we have? In order, like, But everybody say a little prayer for me tomorrow that we're going out for it's not a big deal, but we're going out to shop for my I'm gonna be a great aunt to a little nephew this time. I have a great niece and I'm a great nephew. That's so weird for me to say. But I think that I know what I want to get him. So just say a little prayer, I hope that it's in stock because I got a week. I only have a week left. I'm like, I want to get this little like rattle that's like sterling silver and get his name engraved. But I don't think he has a name yet. So I might just do his last name or her last name. I don't know, whatever they want to do. But thank you. Yeah. So then we're gonna get of course we're gonna take Brooklyn something because of course we gotta take baby Brooklyn something. She's gonna have a little brother and it's not going to be like all her anymore. So I'm thinking about getting her like a jelly cat and then maybe getting him one too. But then I want one. Those little jelly cats are cute. I know. I might steal it. I like the name Huckley. I'm all about it. I haven't told her yet though. I want to do it in person because I want to see her reaction. Because it's either going to be Tanya, that is so country, or Tanya, that's perfect. Or like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's no in between with her. And I like Huckley. I think it's cute. We are the family of strange names. We really are. My name's spelled with an A. My brother's is actually decent. But my nieces and nephews, they're all very, like, you need to talk to people you have to go to like an interpreter to like pronounce their name, learn how to pronounce the name right. You lived in Europe for 33 years, Mariska? Wow. You don't think Tony with the name's odd? It's not too odd, but growing up, I got Tanya everywhere I went. Everywhere. Everywhere. My gym coach or my gym teacher was 12 years. Present. Tanya. Present. Like my senior year, I'm like, dude, are you ever going to get it right? Ever? Just like once? It was always funny though. But my brother's name's Tony. So that's why my mom spelled my name with an A, because she wanted them to be different. But we're 8 years, almost 9 years apart. So there was no way of foreseeing that, right? So that's how I got my name. But thank you guys for being here. Thanks for talking to me for a little bit after the live tonight. I appreciate that. I'll be back on tomorrow. We'll do some more digging and diving, and maybe we'll do like an open panel or something, and people can come up and we can get some questions answered or do some stuff like that. I think that would be good. Because I want to get Trip up here too to talk some true crime. So everybody have a great night. Janaya or the Janaea? Janaea? That's pretty, Crime Kitty. That sounds like a name that I've heard before, but I have never heard it. Janaea. I like that. Does she go by Naya or Janaea? I mean, I would shorten and go by Nene. Call me Nene. Yeah, I know I'm gonna go get me some. Actually, I'm gonna go order me some dinner. I'm gonna go make Vincent feel bad, like tofu. All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. Don't forget to hit the like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. We will be doing our members giveaway here at the end of the month. We're gonna do them on like the last Sunday of every month. So it'll be either this Sunday or next Sunday. I'll have to look. I think it's next Sunday, or this Sunday. This Sunday. It would be this Sunday. So yeah, it'll be this Sunday. So have a wonderful evening. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye, guys.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how.